Super Random Japan. Nani?
Last year, the popular Japanese tourist spot of Shibuya in Tokyo banned drinking alcohol in public for Halloween, and while it was extended to New Year and is now in effect all year round, I'd like to focus on Halloween and why it's a big deal in Shibuya and Japan in general these days. You see, until the 2000s, nobody really celebrated Halloween in Japan much aside from foreigners, so let's delve into the mystery and take a look at some reasons that have led to the growth in popularity of Halloween in Japan. Like most things Western, Halloween first came to Japan after World War II, when American forces occupied the country. Most Western influences, while present, weren't forced. However, Japanese people, mostly the youth, gravitated toward Western culture because it seemed cool. Halloween, however, was one of the things that did not catch on so fast. You could make the assumption that it's due to people not wanting to stand out in a crowd by being different, no marketing by major corporations or whatever, who knows. Plus, Japan already has had their own sort of Day of the Dead, known as Obon, or just Bon, a holiday that combines the ancient Japanese belief in ancestral spirits and a Japanese Buddhist custom to honor the spirits of one's ancestors. That, however, takes place in summer and is more about the honoring of ancestors than dressing up, so they never really had a holiday similar to Halloween. Like most countries too, the Japanese have had a history with ghosts and spirits and all that stuff, but their interpretations come in the form of what are called yokai. These are demons and ghosts that are more or less amalgamations of characters and creatures that are historically passed down in tales through word of mouth and tradition and superstition. These include popular characters like the Kappa, a turtle-like water sprite in the form of a child, as well as the Tengu, a winged demon that wears a big-nosed mask, and the Hanya, demoness, that dons a horned mask. While these characters, and especially their masks, continue in production and usage, they aren't used in any particular holiday celebration. While it took the better part of a century to catch on, the first Halloween parade in Japan was set up by the Kittyland Harajuku store in the 1970s, one of my favorite places to visit when hitting up Harajuku, mostly because they had cool Gundam and other figures. I never bought much, but the kid in me would like to think of what could have been if I grew up in Japan. Anyway, I digress. Other than the Kittyland Harajuku parade, the Kawasaki Halloween parade began in 1997. Neither gained much traction. Tokyo Disneyland started Disney Happy Halloween in 1997, again with little fanfare. However, that would begin to change, especially for Disney, with the dawn of the new century. In the early 2000s, Disney began to celebrate Halloween on a bigger basis. Added to this was the opening of Disney Sea in 2001, a Disney theme park exclusive to Japan. In addition to the popularity of Disney, came the influx of foreign tourists going to places like the aforementioned Shibuya, as well as Shinjuku and other areas. Due to the rise in tourism and foreigners celebrating the holiday in major tourist spots, however, it led to trains being crowded with belligerent, drunken, costumed people, mostly foreigners, causing delays and mostly huge nuisances. In places like Shinjuku and Shibuya, Japanese locals protested with signs telling gaijin that they don't want their stupid holiday. Still, while there were many haters, like most things, the newer generations began to take an interest. After all, it's only natural for young people to be attracted to a huge public party of drinking and acting stupid, all while in disguise. And an added fuel to the fire was the rise of social media. You see, even before the invention of smartphones, Japanese already had pretty freaking smartphones. I'll never forget the phone I had when I was living there in 2004 already had a camera, TV broadcasting capabilities, and I even had a 3D Resident Evil game among many other apps. They could be used as credit cards, train passes, etc. via the chips in them, and so on. All this new technology, combined with social media like Facebook and their version, Mixi, led to more and more people sharing their experiences and fun photos. This led to more interest in obscure events like Halloween and dressing up. Cosplay, or costume play, was on the rise as well due to video games and anime becoming more and more popular and mainstream worldwide. Everything was the perfect mixing pot to make Halloween all the rage in Japan. However, then a giant pause button was put on the world. That's right. The COVID pandemic hit. As I mentioned in my video about the tourism problem in Japan, once borders opened worldwide again, Japan quickly became one of the hottest, if not the hottest, of destinations. Everyone who had been dreaming of visiting Japan were flocking in and treating it like the whole country, especially Tokyo, were just a big amusement park. Streamers were becoming nuisances, influencers were drawing unwanted crowds to quiet areas, and everyone seemed to be taking advantage of Japan's politeness and hospitality. It all accumulated last year when Shibuya and Shinjuku cracked down on Halloween crowds and, more importantly, public drinking during Halloween. Now we're in an interesting era. As tourism continues to rise, Western horror films and films about Halloween get streamed worldwide, and as social media algorithms keep making Halloween seem like the cool thing to celebrate, it's bound to spread more and more. As it does, I'm sure, like in the West, many people will celebrate it, others will loathe it, but most of all, people will plan on expecting it to be a thing. That pretty much sums it up though. As always, thanks for watching, and for more random Japanese culture, films, TV, and game reviews, or any other random Japanese topics I decide to discuss, please like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. Later.